What's going on, guys? Jeff here, and I am super excited about these spoilers. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but there is a site that's called Let's Play Games. Apparently, they were the ones that leaked the Arsenal hate card for the KO deck, so it's pretty likely these are correct or some amazing psyop, but it's pretty likely. So for the Azalea Armory deck, we have two new cards that have been leaked. And for those of you that are unaware, we already knew about the headpiece, and we knew about the card that puts a card, or a card that flips a card from face down to face up in Arsenal, and then gives an aim counter and +3. And it's a yellow one, costs 3 block. It's pretty good, but that means that this deck currently has 4 brand new Majestics, as opposed to the previous ones that had 3 Majestics, only 2 being equipment, and 1 rare. Now, if you look at the pictures, you also see that there's what looks like to be a pretty new techy kind of bow, which is not something that we've seen before. So there's also a potential that there's a new bow in here. And we still haven't seen a rare, so there's also a potential of there being a new rare. We don't know yet. Maybe they changed the formula. I kind of hope that's the case. And if that's the case, then the Bolton deck also should have more cards that we haven't seen. But getting into it, the arms basically work the same way as Bullseye Bracers, where it puts a card face up and it adds a aim counter to it. It has Battle Worn 1, which basically replaces the AB1 text. So it's pretty similar, but works a little bit differently. Now, the +1 being gone kind of sucks. However, since we have cards like Infecting Shot, or like all the disease ones, Murkmire, and to an extent Drill Shot, and even Falcon Wing, that all get +1 or additional effects to it, then it might actually be pretty close to the same thing. We just sacrifice the AB for the +1 on defense for physical damage. But things like Barbed Undertow and Immobilizing Shot also get the benefits of their actual effects, which can be huge. And Murky Water being able to be immediately activated and pitching a yellow to just send 7 Dominate is pretty insane. Now, in combination with the new boots, which effectively work the same way as snaps, but they require an aim counter to trigger on an arrow, so they're a little more restrictive, obviously. But you can use this on things like Murky Water. And I guess if you wanted to, Battering Bolt. But it also has Battle Worn 1. So in the case of aggro, if you were to run these as a combo, you can pretty much guarantee that a single card has Go Again with an aim counter on it. But it's a little heads up. The Battle Worn 2 kind of end up making you have overall more armor if you run Bullseye Braces Snaps. And about the same armor if you're in Bullseye Braces Perch. So for the aggro build, I can see this being a neat 1-card combo. I can see this working really well with like a Singleton Murky Water or a Infecting Shot that you just throw for 6 and then essentially snap and Codex, which would work effectively the same way if you had Bullseye Braces and Snaps. But this does give you the cheeky Murky Water play. Now, we don't know how the build's going to change for aggro. That may include more aim counter stuff like Immobilizing. But this card being a Immobilizing Shot is completely online off of a 0-card hand is actually pretty insane. It means you have no resources that you need and you throw a hugely disruptive arrow. And if you have a buff, it's actually even more insane. Then you can send 7 with it online. I don't think that these cards will fit in Azalea, ironically enough. I think that Azalea would rather have Longjaw or Bullseye Bracers. Longjaw to navigate around Warmongers and Bullseye Bracers because it just works really well. And they would kind of just rather have Snaps for the most part. It's interesting to see, but I think that we'll start seeing more Riptide game counter builds start to creep up. Just this kind of splashed in, tacked in a little bit. Um, Assuming that we don't get a new bow, I think that these are interesting. But I think that we'll actually see a new bow in combination with this, and I'm kind of excited to see what that brings. With things like Deadeye and the immobilizing shot, flash, and all these cards that get extra benefits behind it, I can see Riptide really, really succeeding with a lot of these new support pieces for aims. The aggro builds will probably adapt a little bit. The aim counter builds will love these cards. Hybrid might run sharpshooters because there's really no reason not to. Yeah, they lose the +1 that comes with putting like a battering bolt or something like that, but they get to turn on murky water, which is 7 dominate, pretty much guaranteeing that you get a trap as well as just a late game effect that you can do a buffed murky water. I could see them running it, but the legs seem kind of redundant since they're probably going to just run perch grapplers so that overall they gain 1 block value, which can actually mean a lot. Because I know that Hybrid was kind of playing around with long draw, but it was like 50-50, some were for it, some weren't. But this is like an easy slot in that makes that build have a end game, and maybe it overall buffs the potential that the deck has. Because maybe they can run like a singleton copy of Deadeye or something like that. I don't know. But I'm interested to see how the builds evolve. I'm interested to see what else we gain. And I can't wait to see this in August 2nd. There'll be a link in the description for the site if you want to check it out yourself. Maybe they update it soon. But yeah, keep cooking on these ideas. Can't wait to see them.